I like the new blinds behind you.
Yeah, we just gotta, I think, extend them. I think they're long enough. We could extend them all the way to the top.
Nice. Well, it looks good. I like the new blinds behind you.
Yeah, we just gotta, I think, extend them. I think they're long enough. It's a long leg. Weird. So, you know, your good buddy Dwight. Just see what his wife gave my daughter. Those hideous freaking leggings.
My middle daughter likes stuff like that. She's graduating.
Oh, nice.
Oldest graduates this Friday.
The one neat thing about these half blinds is that you can't see cars parked in the parking lot.
When you get some natural light coming in. You know, that's what Mark was saying when he put these up. He said that in his house he has that are mechanized, or I don't know. I guess it just goes up. You can pull them down from the top. So somehow they're, but one that would connect and span 4 windows would be,
That would be unnecessary.
I think that would be nice.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you necessarily mount them into the.
Right. I mean, didn't you get an email about an hour before the meeting started? Yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah, but you got an email, right?
I did.
Yeah. Everybody should have gotten that email at 5 p.m. I have internet. You gonna be able to make it tomorrow?
But
Oh,
I will give.
Lori, this is being recorded, right? But can you mute us, please? you unmute us, Laura? All right. Come on. Call this meeting to order at 6:47 p.m. Monday, May 9th, 2021. Recite the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a roll call, please, sir? No, right there,
Ms. Combs,
Present electronically from my home.
Mr. Lippert here. Mr. Ricks,
Absent.
absent with prior notice.
Did he give you notice?
He did.
Okay.
It wasn't written, but it was a verbal.
It's fine.
Mr. Swayze
Here.
and Mr. Underwood.
Here. Brings us to 3.0, modification approval of the agenda. We cannot modify the agenda as all 5 board members are not present. So do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Lippert. Thank you, Mr. Swayze. Call for the vote, please, sir.
Ms. Combs,
Aye.
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Swayze,
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye. Motion carries. Agenda is approved. Brings us to 4.1, 2022-2023 academic calendar. Do I have a motion to approve 4.1?
Make a motion to approve 4.1.
Thank you, Mr. Swayze. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Combs. Discussions, comments, questions, concerns. So, those of you who, Mr. Lippert and I are working this pretty hard in the background. So we found a policy GCL, which talks about teacher contracts. And in that policy, it says we will have 146 contact days. So we amended the calendar to be 146 contact days. And that gives us 13. The way the CDE math works is you got to figure out how many hours a day you have contact, multiply that by contact days. And then CDE says that you have to have 1,080 contact hours. And our current schedule shows us-
Instructional hours, not contact. There's a difference.
I thought the two were synonymous in the case of calculating the hours.
They actually break it down. What is an instruction?
Right, like for instance, passing periods and lunches don't count.
Right.
Passing periods
Oh, they
count.
can
I
count.
didn't break it down.
And ours
Right.
does.
But whatever.
talking about the
It's
CDE
it's-
stuff?
Yeah, it's still.
Right. So in order for us to get to where we needed to go from where we were, meaning 146 to above 1080, we are going to have to have 8 instructional hours a day. And I think that's the plan. So we're bringing them in 7:30, starting them at 7:40.
Leaving it 14.
Right.
30 minutes.
We're not gonna, it's gonna be totally different than this
Correct.
year, correct? Because we can't count kids on buses as
No.
instructional hours.
They will be going in to their homeroom at 7:40.
Well, if class ends at 1600,
16:10.
Class is
1610s are already on the bus and leaving, so we're changing the schedule for next year?
Yes,
Okay, that, and I'm staying at.
that is
Right.
correct.
So,
we're
but
good.
yeah, my only,
So we're lengthening the day for the children.
yes.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it's longer for them to get home.
Well, if they get them later.
By 5 minutes.
And in the morning when they get here, they walk in there, they get 10 minutes, maybe 15 to eat.
No, they'll take their.
They can
lunch
take
to-
their breakfast to the
They'll take their
classroom.
breakfast to the classroom.
They can't if they so choose. Unless they want to work that. The only other option is to extend the number of days, and we have, and I'm sure this is why Mrs. Petrikaitis is watching the meeting. We already have the contracts prepped for next year. We have a policy that says 146. We would have to amend that policy and change the contracts.
I mean, I can shorten the homeroom in the morning, but we're gonna be checking out Chromebooks every day. They're gonna be checking Chromebooks back in. They're gonna get the announcements in there. They're gonna say they're pledging their home. We're just gonna do breakfast in there. They'll grab their breakfast, go in there.
So first class for everybody's homeroom.
Correct.
And how long is that?
It's 40 to 8.
Of 20 minutes.
No, I disagree with this. I think we're screwing our children. I disagree
How
with
so?
this. You can't tell me that that is constructive time. They first walk
Does
in.
your interpretation of that CDE stuff we went through count that time? If we do it the way that the superintendent's describing?
The way that guidance reads, and I don't have it, I made
Right,
a date
right.
for it, but from what I remember, it's as long as the kids go into class, they take attendance, then they go get their breakfast or snack and they bring it back to the classroom. And then their class is considered an instructional
Or instructional
according
time?
to the CDE guidance.
Okay.
And they were very, very detailed in that guidance. I wish I'd have found that guidance a long time. That Googling is crazy. But anyway, yeah, it was very clear. It says that is instruction. So it would be better than what they're getting right now, because when I was in
Oh,
there, they
yeah.
were sleeping on tables.
Sure.
Everything else. We were counting it. And then we're also counting the end of class and 10 minutes from end of class to getting on the buses as instruction. But now if we're doing 30 minutes lunch, the 5 minutes from lunch to their classroom doesn't count either.
It does.
So it's 35.
5 minutes from lunch to classroom counts. Any passing period going into lunch does not count. And we do not have a passing period into lunch.
So
But-
into, okay, into versus out. Mrs. Combs, your thoughts?
As long as it's tough. It is tough. I would say, I noticed that we left the October break in there. And we had been discussing possibly shortening that down to 2 days. Would that even make a difference for anything?
Oh, well, yeah, it would.
It would take 2 days, the 2 Mondays. We got a Monday scheduled for classes in December and in April.
Why?
If you look at the calendar, there's 2 5-day school weeks.
So do we have 2 Mondays?
Yeah, if you look at this.
One in April.
12th through the 16th is.
Yep, and then April 10th through 14th.
April is the 10th through the 14th. But if the DAC approved this, and then, parents in the community approved Monday school,
Is that,
I just don't want to go in blind. and
can
say
you
that
pull
they
up
didn't
the
get-
color version of the calendar, please? Yes.
DAC sent it out to people in the community?
I gave it to
don't
them.
know. I didn't get it.
We reviewed the first one, and then when we updated this one, I gave it to the president.
Oh, okay, So I printed mine out in black and white, so I couldn't see. All right, so those are actual school days.
Correct.
Calendar committee's fine with it, DAC's fine with it.
Is it community?
I don't know.
Did they send it out to community?
DAC is our gateway to the community, so, I mean, if the DAC is fine with it, that's essentially the best we can do without delaying this any further. I mean, if we really, really wanted, we could take those 2 days into fall break. If you're that concerned about it.
My concerns, we're at the 146, that was in a policy. And then we're already discussing changing the instructional hours to where kids aren't sleeping in the lunchroom. And
Right.
we're counting that as instruction.
Right.
Where they're getting on a bus and we're still counting that as instruction like we were this year. So if that is indeed getting fixed next year, I mean, that my concerns were addressed. If the DAC and the calendar committee came up with this, who am I to argue with the DAC? If the community said, this is what we're doing, and they're good with it, I'm good.
And so also at the end of the day, if we get grief and want to change it, we have a couple of months to change it. The reason we have to approve this calendar is so we could submit it for a data pipeline. And
Right.
they don't care about which days. They care about number of days and total number of hours, right? So if at the end of the day, we move 2 days, we're not in trouble with the state.
We changed the calendar last year. We took 2 days away.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
the kids.
Yeah, we did that like in December or January. or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
So
so,
we can change it.
right. And also we have,
I
So
will
there's
make a
two-
commitment to the board that you will have an earlier calendar next year.
so also we have, based on the 8-hour day, if we really do the 8 hours, we have 13 and a half days above and beyond what we need for 1080. Okay. Now, at the same time, we have 24 hours of authority as a board to, I mean, we can just pull a day. So as we get close to December, we can say, you know what, don't come to school on Monday.
You have that
Well,
authority.
We have that authority.
And it's 24 instructional
Hours. Right.
That's not even.
So 3 days.
Right.
So 3 days, we can just say, never mind.
So in other words,
gotta be for a reason.
their hours they give us, we actually got, give or take, what we can say.
Right, so we have 20, we can, and again, that laundry lists the reasons, we can take 24 hours below the 1080.
Right.
So let's that make it 56, right? 1,056. But at the same time, we have, if we're really doing 8 hours a day, we have 13 and a half days above and beyond the bare minimum requirement right now in this calendar.
I believe that includes the 24.
Yeah, it does include
Yeah.
this one. And the reason we the reason we landed on 146 is because of that policy that specifies
Right.
yeah, the contract. So I noticed that somebody had a Q&A up. Could you address it? Yeah, I know who it was. Oh. Just show me the links. Yes, we've looked at that link. I think that's the document Mr. Lippert was referencing. Okay, anything else? Mrs. Combs?
I think it looks good. I think it's a good compromise from where we started. I definitely think next year we're going into it. We need to have a better process possibly, or just a smoother process so we're not up against the wire. But I think for the most part right now, I am satisfied with it as long as that 740 goes into a homeroom and isn't counted as just hanging out in the cafeteria / gym and doing as they please. If it's a more structured, then then I can see it being counted as instructional hours. That's my input.
Okay.
One of the inputs we got for homeroom for this year, or for next year, from the teachers was they would like to actually check Chromebooks out to individual students, but they really don't want to check them out to go home. So they want to check them out at the beginning of the day, check them out at the end of the day.
Okay. Works for me.
Out in the morning and in the afternoon.
I'm not saying that a student couldn't, look, I need this, I need to use it, that they wouldn't be an exception there, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, I know, because they've made that exception.
Oh, no. Absolutely. All right. Anything else, sir?
No.
Sir?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, you good out there in the ether? I think there's a lag.
How do you do?
All right, call for the vote, please, sir.
Ms. Combs,
Aye.
Mr. Lippert, aye. Mr. Swayze,
Aye.
Mr. Underwood.
Aye. Motion carries, calendar is approved. Brings us to 5.0 adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion?
Adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Lippert. I'll take yours as a second, Mrs. Combs. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:03 PM.